Good morning, Heirloom family. It's your boy Jeremy, and today is Friday the 16th. And guess what? We are back on the Bear River Casino build for the giveaway. And I actually have some exciting news because we have a couple of sponsors that have teamed up with us on this build and the giveaway, donated some products so this way we could try it out, see how they do, and ultimately make a decision if we're going to work with them. And we're actually pretty pleased because this relationship I think will flourish to be a great relationship for you as the consumer end, making sure that you guys have the right products in your tiny homes. As a lot of you guys know, starting with the water heaters, EcoTemp is a company that reached out to us on our Instagram and started talking to me directly, asking me if we were satisfied with our current water heaters. And the answer is no, because with RVs, a lot of the water heaters are propane based, as you may know, and it's not that it's a bad thing. It's more of a issue of us doing what's called a hybrid of a tiny home in a residential build fashion, as you guys see, and then trying to use RV components. And when you do that, there are issues that happen and they clash, especially with plumbing. And when we're dealing with plumbing, we always run into the issue of flow problems and then pressure problems. As I explained back a couple of videos ago, it was very important that you have like your pressure valves, your PSI gauges, so this way that it can temper and control the amount of water that's coming through the hose line from whatever source you're using and then into the actual unit itself, meaning the tiny home or the RV. On an RV, everything used is a low flow application. Well, we try to do the same thing here. Unfortunately, when you're doing that, a lot of customers will pick really nice finishes and fixtures, things like, Delta and Moen and all those types of things, and that's okay. The issue is are there actual faucet or is there bathroom shower? Is it compatible with the low flow? And the answer is a lot of times, no, it's not. And so we have teamed up with several different companies to fix that issue with faucets, but it all starts at the water source. And I know that you don't want to be chilly, I don't want to be chilly, none of us want to take cold showers. So EcoTemp has provided us here with one of their models. This model here is actually the EM 7.0. What that is essentially 7 gallons. Most RVs run 2.5 to maybe 9 gallons range. We were running a 19-gallon full electric tank, and actually I'll show you guys right here. This was a standard tank that we were using previous, and these are good tanks, but these are more of a residential-based tank. And as you guys can see, comparison to size, if you look at the height and width, this is a lot bigger than something like EcoTemp. So EcoTemp has worked really hard to get the sizes down and really create a product that works not only in the RV market, the manufactured home market, and in the residential market, but they're actually coming out with a brand new smart technology, which is going to allow you to calibrate, adjust your water levels, where you have to normally do it from the actual source itself. So as you guys see on the water tank, how it has off, mid, and max, that's going to allow you to adjust the temperature. As most people know, on a water heater, average temperature is adjusted at about 120 degrees. No problem with that, except for one problem. What if you're in North Dakota, South Dakota, New York, you got 3 foot of snow? Who wants to leave the home, run outside, open a doghouse, and adjust the water heater? Nobody. EcoTemp has solved that problem. Although I don't have the model here today, I will be showing you guys that model very shortly. They are going to have a model that all you have to do is pull out your phone, open up the app, and then talk to the water heater. I think that's pretty cool. What I do like about this system is what's called an exchange system. What that means is as the water is being used and all that hot water is going through, it's constantly filling back in from the ports. And then what that will mean is as that hot water is going through the shower or through the dishwasher or through the sinks, in this type of a home, especially being as small as they are, then what's happening is about 40% of that water is already getting heated within the thermostat control of this. So that means, for the most part, you are not going to have a cold shower. We have tested one of these units out previously. I actually put this in way back, actually in the Discovery Pod. We used it for the basic sinks, and we could not get this thing to go cold. Now, granted, that was not a shower. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if this bad boy, once we are fully plumbed and ready to go, can take a 20-minute hot shower. Literally, I'm going to blast it up, let it steam, and let's see how this baby cooks. As far as hookups go, it's pretty simple. Blue is cold, red is hot. You'll go back, red, blue for your cold and hot. I'll have the plumber go in and actually put those in and actually take the PEX and thread them on. You'll have your standard blow-off valve. For those of you that don't know what a blow-off valve is, that's pretty standard. What that does is it goes into the actual tank. It will get threaded on all the way down. We will have the main water in coming here. And then what will end up happening is we actually put a waterproof membrane on the bottom. And in the event that you get pressure built up, this is to release that pressure. On our tiny homes, that problem isn't a problem. The reason being is we actually do a blow-off with all of our homes. When we sell our homes, we give every single client the actual brass fitting that goes from the hose line that I've showed you previously. And then coming into our homes where the water in goes on the side, and I'll show that to you in a little bit, we actually have another backflow blow-off at that point. So if there is any air or anything at all, it's not coming into the house, which means it should not even come to this tank, which should mean that this thing should stay bone dry. A gas water heater or EcoTemp, I'm going to have to say EcoTemp wins the battle. Why? Gas water heaters, constantly going to have that flow issue no matter what you do, unless if you dial it in to a science, meaning that I'm going to give you 1 or 2 choices on what you can install for your fixtures and for your showers, and that is it. No questions asked. And even then, you are still not an RV. You are a hybrid. You are a tiny home built with residential methods and construction, marrying the RV life. Our second sponsor of the day is RV Water Filter Store. RV Water Filter Store actually reached out to us as well on our Instagram, and I have actually used RV water filter units in the past. I'm very familiar with them, and they said, hey, Tiny Heirloom, what can we do to help your customers better? And I actually got with them. We talked, put our heads together, and we decided that on all of our tiny homes, we are going to start with their entry-level filtration and carbon kits. We are actually going to have a link in the description below with the starter kit as well. You will be able to go to shop.tinyheirloom.com. The link is in the description down below, and you will be able to go on our site and actually purchase these within our kits. However, it's better than that, guys. We are going to be able to have multiple kits for different reasons. One of the kits being south of the border, they call it. And what it is it is a filtration and a carbon kit system that goes in, and you literally can take a hose, hook it up to anywhere in Mexico, run it through the system, and it comes out like crystal glacier water. And so at the end of the day, I know for our customers, the safety and the bacterials and everything else that can go into filtration and water, it is beyond important to make sure that you have the right system. So RV Water Filtration Store, you guys have got this down. I'd like to show you guys this kit that we're going to put into the Bear River Casino giveaway. Again, donated, and thank you guys for doing this for us, for this build. And for all of our future builds, we will be putting these in stock. What this will do is it will mean that when you run the water from the source, from the outside of a tiny home or an RV, again, and you hook a hose line up or a water line up to the house, that water is going to then go immediately through this system here. The first thing it's going to do before it touches anything is it's going to go through a 2-part filtration system. These canisters, I'm going to lift these up. These are filters. So what we will have is we will have a 1-micron hydronics filter that will be put in this canister, and essentially it will go up in the cavity just like this, and it will look like this. What we'll have is a secondary canister. This is the same thing. This is just a spare, and it will have this Pentair. It's a CFB B10 filter cartridge. And what it is it's a carbon block. It takes all the carbons and it removes it from the water system. So this will go into the secondary canister, and this will go up in here. So all the water that will go through will be filtered, go through the carbon, go into the lines, and then any water that goes through the tiny home, and in this case, will go through the kitchen sink, the dishwasher, the bathroom sink, will be filtered and safe to drink fully. You will not have to have a refrigerator, which we do anyway, because we go over the top all the time. And you will not have to worry about anything else being filtered because you can drink it right out the tap. Another thing is they have this handy little wand here. This comes with every single purchase, and this is your lifesaver because once these are actually put into place, this is like your little wrench. It slides on just like this into the grooves, and then you will be turning it so that this way you guys can get it tighter. Bigger thing is once the water has ran through it and gone through the filters and it's time to change those filters, then it's a little harder to take off because you have all that pressure. So this is a lifesaver to not end up busting your hands. In the box, you have your little gaskets. You've got to make sure that you guys put these up on the top before you install these. We will be doing a video on the installation of these, but I want you guys to know that RV Water Filter Store is your solution for purified filtration. Literally 7 more days to have this bad boy done, and I am absolutely confident in our team and our group this will happen. Right now we are at the siding stage, we were at the wall cover stage, and we finished spray foam a couple days ago. I unfortunately had a family emergency, so I was out for a few days, but when I got back I realized, wow, they have made a huge progress in moving forward, such as, and as you will see on the 2 sponsors that we have, we've got all of our filtration set up. We have our water heater ready to go for all of our plumbing here in the dog box. For those of you that said, oh, wait a minute, this was on the left side, you are right, we did switch it. We wanted to make it to where we had an access panel right behind the shower. These are the things that we've learned with the tricks and trades, so that this way, at the end of the day, if you've got to get into fittings and make changes, we don't want you tearing apart showers, tile, FRP panels, siding, trim, any of that. It makes it a lot easier so that you have an access hatch so that you can go in, open it, and then get right to where all of the actual connections and fittings are. But going from there, the guys have already trimmed out, caulked, and gotten everything ready for paint on the doghouse. We have gone in, and up here, if you kind of go back a little bit, Thomas, they've done all the proper flashing, so this way that any of the water runoff that comes from the ceiling or the siding onto the doghouse does not go behind the doghouse, but actually goes up front of it and weaves off like it is supposed to. This is actually done in a board and batten theme. And so what is actually, and I pointed out last video, a little rare and I actually like, is we went with a smooth finish. This is actually, I mean, you can hear it. It is smooth. This is not a faux wood grain finish or a wood grain finish. This is a real wood finish though, and it is in a smooth application. Again, going with that more of a farmhouse and modern contemporary vibe. These are the batten strips I was explaining to you guys. These are a 1-inch strip that are single strips going all the way from just below the fascia, which you see up there, which is that horizontal 6-inch board, and then it's going straight down right to the end. And as I told you guys, we wouldn't be doing the belly band. What we're doing is we're doing our corner trims, we're doing our fender trims, and around the fenders we're actually putting in the flashing like I told you guys we would. So we have actually went in and we have riveted on flashing over the steel to create a moisture barrier protection that goes under the siding to the zip wall, and under that application, under the actual siding itself. And then what we do is we then bring in another flashing piece that's roughly about here, and then it comes down and over, and it protects every angle of water so that if it's coming in from the top, the sides, the bottom, it does not matter. It's doing its job, and it's basically not going to wick up, cause mold, cause damage, and it's going to flash and go out to where it needs to do and relieve it. A lot of people ask me, and I'll actually bring this up right now, why don't you caulk this? This little gap right here. Why don't you caulk this gap right here? By doing that, not only do you void your warranty, you will cause any water that gets behind the siding. It has no room to go and escape. All of that water is now going to wick up. It's going to push and get in and start rotting from the inside out. And that's when you're going to start seeing where siding can basically buckle. you can start seeing where you're going to get bubbling and protrusion. And that is a big, big no-no. So guys, please do not ever caulk these areas on the fender well or anywhere you see this metal flashing. That also goes for above your windows as well, your doghouse, your roof line, anywhere that metal flashing is at, above your doors, your door seal, anything, your threshold. You cannot at all caulk those areas when they need to have that area to breathe. So let's go ahead and walk around. One thing you guys will see is this bad boy right here. This is actually one of our lasers. So we actually go in and they hit right on every single board with the laser to make sure that whatever we're deciding, whether we're going to be 16 inches, 12 inches, 18 inches, 24 inches apart, not only are we absolutely straight going vertical, but we're straight between the distances, and then we're also straight between the horizontal top and bottom of the trailer itself. That is really important. The attention to detail is very, very important when you're doing this. Looks like the guys got a lot of the pre-wiring done for the low voltage. That's up there. That wiring is for the safety DOT lights. And as you guys will see, if we actually look over here, these are DOT lights. They're ran on the sides, the backs, and the fronts of the home to be state compliant. Not only do we do state compliance in our state of Oregon, but we actually do the federal mandate of the Trucker's Guide, and that is in all 50 states. So that way there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You will have proper lighting and not get in trouble by anybody on the roadway. Right, we've got our utilities. This is going to be our hose bib. We actually are adding these now to all of our tiny homes, so that way if you want to connect a hose out, you don't have to necessarily rely on the only hose going into the tiny home, disconnecting it so that you could use whatever the park's hose, your neighbor's hose, or if you're parked in a driveway or in the backyard. This gives you the versatility to actually hook up from the home and have a secondary access point. This is your 50 amp power supply. This is your main run that goes into the house and connects right to the boxes I showed you in the last video. We'll put the 50 amp power cord here. It'll be a twist lock, which makes it safe. It's surge protected, and we will go over that as soon as we have it. This little guy right here is your coax. This is what's going to allow you to have satellite and cable TV. Must have. We will actually have a coax in box here, and on this model we're going to actually put the TV over above the drop down table. We decided we moved the location and we're putting it on a swivel, so this way we can watch TV from anywhere. I think that's a much better idea. This is your water in, and as I was explaining before in the previous videos, this is where you hook up to your water. This is where we have the secondary backflow, and this is what goes to that water tank and goes to that filtration system. So from there, this side is pretty much almost fully done. This is going to be a exterior, just 110 plug outlet that's going to be for exterior use, so that way you can plug in anything that you'd like to use on the outside of the tiny home. Up there is going to be our LED porch light. On this one, we're actually putting in a really pretty light. It's going to be more of a matte black finished LED that has a big hood around it to go with that farmhouse theme. But let's go ahead and come inside and show you guys the progress made. So inside, as you guys can see, we are on wall cover, which means we are getting there. We got all the electrical in last week. We got the guys out from JBI Installations who did all of the spray foam for us. Thank you guys. And then now we got our team, who is a very, very talented team, doing the wall cover. One thing I will say about wall cover, when you're doing tongue and groove, shiplap, or anything with these lines, this is called a penny gap, or this is called fine line. It is essential that you do this right, and our guys have perfected this process. I can't tell you how well. Reason being is my partner and I are sticklers on corners, and so what will happen is once we have our actual cove that goes in the corners and seals this gap, have all the proper caulking and paint done, these two intersecting lines need to match up and down, side to side, and we do not tolerate having any of those lines off. And so that means on all four corners of the house, coming from the ceiling, and then the biggest part and the biggest pain in, I think, their butt is once you install cabinets and finish stuff, anything that has that fine line to it, no matter where the break is and the start is, they are going to make sure that that line is symmetrical all the way through and through. And that is how you know that you have quality. Tongue and groove will get done today. And then at that point, they will have this bad boy ready and prepped. We're going to get this thing with the trim pieces put in. Next, they'll end up putting in all of the window casings, get those done, door casings, and then it will go into interior paint. Cabinets are being built as we speak. Those are going to go in here in the next day or two. And then it's kind of putting the icing on the cake, my favorite part. And that is when you start seeing this home come together. So stay tuned. Always remember, guys, I need you guys to always share, comment, like, and subscribe. Put the thumbs up, hit the bell button, and we'll be back at another time.